What up, what up? I go by the name of Jabari. Back another Monday, another Words with Friends podcast. If you guys don't know, you can support the Words with Friends podcast if you're getting value from the conversations. If some of these inspiring folks I talk to are inspiring you to get up and do whatever it is you want to do in your life, then please support it with as little as a $1 tip on patreon.com. patreon.com/Jabari, and you can leave as little as a $1 tip to the Words with Friends podcast, and that ensures that I keep this thing coming to you guys as frequent as possible. All right, without further ado, right now I have my man Marc E. Bassy. What's up, bro?
What's good, bro?
Chilling, man.
It's good to see you.
I know, man. When was the last time we seen each other?
I saw you at a swimming pool party, maybe like a few months. 6 months ago? Was that a year ago? You have no idea what I'm talking about, huh?
No, because that's a lie, man. That wasn't the last time
When was
that we
that
saw each other. I'm trying to think of what swimming pool party that was.
Bro, remember we were like at some apartment complex and there was like, you have no idea what I'm talking about right now?
Nah, cause that was the last time we saw each other was at Moki's birthday.
Oh yeah, okay. That was before that.
Yeah, but what? I don't know what.
It was with Moki and all those same people. We were in like North Hollywood. You remember?
Oh yeah, but that was man. I've seen you like 4 times.
No, you haven't.
In between that, but.
I got it.
But yeah, man. We're just closing some doors right now, folks.
It's a rough and tumble out here.
So yeah, man. Let's talk a little bit about how we first met, though.
We first met at a classic CMJ showcase in New York City.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say the date. It was so long ago. But man, 2009?
Nah, it wasn't that long
10?
ago. 10, I'd say. Yeah,
Okay.
maybe 2010.
No, but I was, someone recently, Dan Weissman recently posted the flyer from that event.
Yeah.
It's like...
It was crazy.
Big Sean, Mike Posner, Theophilus London,
Yep.
2 a.m. Club, RIP 2 a.m. Club.
Oh, man, we'll talk about that.
Kind of. That's where we first met, right?
And Sean Christopher.
Sean Christopher.
And I was hosting it.
Yeah.
Crazy show, man.
That was really fun.
Yeah. That was an epic show, man. That was the first time I met you guys. First time I saw your band that you are and were in 2 a.m. Club perform.
Yes, sir.
Man, tell me a little bit about just growing up in the Bay and, how you started singing. And, first of all, let the people know even what you do. We just jumped right into this. They don't even know who you are.
Well, my name is Marc Griffin, a.k.a. Marc E. Bassy. And I've been a singer, songwriter, front person in a band since I was like 17. I'm 27 now, so almost 10 years.
Yeah.
And I started off in high school, like being like an MC and doing like slam poetry and that sort of thing. When that used to be popular, that seems like a lifetime ago. It's oddly circling back around.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, weird. With the internet, it's just it's the same as battle rap, man.
Yeah, it's been dead for a while, but it's really coming back, which I actually enjoy watching people care about, like the art of, being a wordsmith. But that's kind of where I started, and then I moved to LA after high school to sort of like, give it a go in the industry, and I ended up joining forces with some really talented cats, one that I had grown up with and a few that I met along the way. And we started this incredible band that was, took the entire focus of my whole entire being for, 5 or 6 years. And we had a record deal, got a publishing deal, toured, played with everybody, been to every city in the country, and it was really like one of the best things I've ever, probably the best thing I've been a part of, but it kind of recently, in the past 2 years, just never materialized in a way that was beneficial enough for all 6 of us to continue doing it. And so we kind of decided to go our separate ways. But it's, something that there's no regrets, and we all like really love each other. And when you spend that much time with people, they really turn into family.
Yeah.
So we still rocking, we still do stuff together, but it's just kind of, it made more sense to start doing other things
talk about, man. I mean, when I first saw you guys, I was just blown away. You know what I mean? Because at that time too, in my youth, maybe that was 2009. Yeah, I don't know, but it was a while ago, man. 4 or 5 years ago, right,
Yeah.
where I was introduced to you guys. I was, my early 20s, man, just fresh out of college, and I was really into hip hop. Like, I had been like into other sort of genres a little bit, but like, for the most part, man, I was like a hip hop dude, grew up on it, and like, I'm still a hip hop head very much. So, but now I'm just a little more well rounded in my musical taste and like even acceptance. But like when I saw you guys, it didn't even matter that you guys were a band and like singer, and then you had Tyler's rapping and stuff. But like it was just you guys commanded attention, and I think it was because you guys were a live band up there, and it was like how much, 6 of you guys.
Yeah.
It was very different than like a rapper on a mic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, so but at the same time, I felt like you guys were like teetering in this hip hop world, you know what I mean? Like you guys were sort of, I mean, I guess you would call it a pop band, but you were teetering on hip hop.
Well, that was the thing that was always the struggle. Is like I'm from the Bay Area. I grew up listening to Bay Area rap, Tupac, Mac Dre, and fucking Mac Marlin, E40, and all that. The Team, the Pack, shit like that. The Pack was later on, but so I come from hip hop music. I don't come from rock and roll music. I come from classic soul music that my parents played, and like heavy into hip hop. But for me, I kind of joined a band because I just admired the musicianship, and I wanted to be a part of that. That was always more interesting to me than just being like some white kid rapping. Like that shit to me is, it's also like, it's all about timing, Like when I was a senior in high school, like literally the only white rapper that I could look at with any kind of like credibility was Eminem. And that man's a god, when it's all said and done, like there's no color really. Music doesn't really know color, I feel like. And he's just, well, it does, but he surpasses all that. But all this like suburban white boy lifestyle rap, like I could never be a part of that, that shit. Like I've never been cool with that. It never impressed me.
Now this is interesting. Why? I mean, because it's like you just said music has no color, but then sort of retracted the statement a bit, right? Because
it's like I don't care about like I grew up in San Francisco, right? And then I went to high school in the suburbs, but I've always been like the little white kid, like trying to being in the hood and shit, and like going around with crazy ass friends, and I've always just put like rappers, and I put, that's funny that I said it, I do see color, I guess. Like I put black music on a pedestal. Like that's the sacred thing. Like from jazz to the blues to rock and roll to hip hop, that's all black music. And I feel like as a white person, I have to be careful about like being really authentic and not being like a culture vulture, like they like to say or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think even for black people too, like I think no one cares anymore. That's why Iggy Azalea is the biggest rapper in the world, and she's just a white girl from Australia. It's like no one cares anymore. You can be anyone from anywhere and imitate anything, and everyone's cool with it.
But is that are they really cool with it, or are they just like, you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, is it, I don't know if appropriation is the right word, but like is it like a lot of stuff right now just seems way too inauthentic. You know what I mean? And it's like it's to the point where it's like, does authenticity even matter?
It doesn't matter anymore. No. So that's like, but the struggle as an artist is to try to find a way to be.
But yeah, but the minute you take away your authenticity, then you're not a real artist anymore.
Yeah. So
right?
It's like, I guess for me, I just bringing it back to why I joined the band and everything, and also one of the complications with being in that particular band, 2AM Club, was that like I didn't want to just try to be like, the little like white kid trying to like rap. That wasn't even cool back then, that wasn't like a thing. There wasn't a lane for that. If I was 17 right now, like in the same 17-year-old mind that I was in 10 years ago, I'm sure I would just make YouTube videos and be a little rapper and copy Mac Miller and all these people that blew it wide open for anyone could just pretend like I'm smoking weed and sipping lean and I'm in high school. Holy shit. Like, I have bitches, whatever. Like, I did all that shit in high school, so I probably would have done that. But it was really important to me to be as authentic as possible. And at the time, I was really connecting with this kid, Matt Reagan, and the way he played guitar. So I was like, that fits, that feels comfortable. Like, I can kind of sing and rap and use my hip-hop influence and infuse it into this kid's amazing guitar playing. Mm-hmm. And that was how we formed the band. And along the way, I lost myself, and I lost all my connection to hip-hop music. But that's always been the culture that I embraced and then embraced me. So that's why you saw 2AM Club touring with Chitty Bang, with Big Sean, with Mike Posner. That's why we were on that showcase. Mm-hmm. But then, this is getting complicated, but the audience could see, like you said, there was like this hip hop thing. Like, we weren't like just some white like ass band playing rock and roll music. Like, we had groove. People were rocking with us.
It was soulful. And that's your voice especially though. Out of everything is like, you know, and maybe I'm just using soulful as a synonym for black. You know what I mean? But like, seriously, like that. You know, your voice. It's not like just you know, a lot of times I'll play your project now, and like, you know, people will be like, oh, where is he from? And I'll say the Bay, and they'll be like, oh, like, do you have like can you show me him or something like that? And like, they'll surprise that you're a white guy.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Well, that's just, you know, I grew up like really heavily influenced by black music, and it was always, my dad was always playing soul music, and I love white music too. It's not like that. I don't mean it to be so like racial, because I really don't care about race, like personally, but it is important, I feel like, in music nowadays for people to remember like where
stuff came from,
where genres come from. Like, absolutely. I feel like damn near sick to my stomach when I see just how easy it is for anyone to say anything at any time, and it's just like no one cares about anything out here. You know, you know, like when I was in high school, even like if you wore a T-shirt, for example, that had like a band name on it, like if you had a T-shirt that said Nirvana, or if I wore a T-shirt that said Tupac, like for me to be a little kid and have a Tupac T-shirt on, every day at school, someone would be like, "What's up, bro? Like, who do you think you are?" Like, and I'd be like, "You don't get it. I'll tell you every single word to every Tupac song. That's all I listen to. Like, I'll wear this T-shirt and get beat up for it if I have to, because that's how much this music means to me." And nowadays it's just like another T-shirt. You know, it's like people aren't really connected to music in that same way. It's like a different experience now, which I don't know if that's bad or good, but I just like to try to find a way to really connect with, you know, where I'm from and try. It's like that's what it's all about. It's like discovering myself as I go along. Like, I wanted to be Tupac for how long, but it's like I can't really be Tupac. And, you know, but I'm not really like some rock and roll kid either. So it's like that's what creates all this weird music that I make. And I think that's why people are starting to check for it a little bit, just because it kind of it's unique, because we're all unique. So it's like if you're an artist, you should just be as honest with yourself as possible, and you'll have unique sounding music, and you'll be able to be special. And the ones that aren't unique, that are just imitating an imitation, they might be big for a song or two, but eventually.
I mean, I almost think, man, that the term artist, right, is just being thrown around way too loosely now. Yeah. You know, like we call everybody who makes, like, to the point where, like, even in other genres of art or other types of art form, when people say like, oh yeah, I got an artist, or this is my artist, you always think it's a musician. You know what I mean? And it's like, art is so broad, and like there's so many other types of art. And then like the fact that word has become synonymous with musician, but so many musicians are just like copycats, and they're just like imitations, and they're not really speaking to what's true to them. It's like, are they even really artists? You know what I mean? Like it's crazy, man. Like we're in a weird time with music.
Yeah, I just think, you know, if you're an artist, that's something you're born into, and I think what it really means is that you're willing to sacrifice everything, like literally everything, to discover yourself and share it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so it's like, you see me right now. We're in Koreatown. I'm renting out this room in this beautiful ass little penthouse situation, but I move around a lot. I've been everywhere. You might catch me sleeping on someone's couch one day and living in a huge house in Beachwood Canyon the next day.
Hell yeah.
Depending on if my advance came through or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not stopping, you know. I'll never quit being an artist. That's what I care about, and I care about making music and trying to get better at it. And it doesn't. That's all that's ever mattered. You know, I'm hyper ambitious, and I'm out here trying to bring my songs to the people. But at the end of the day, if you left me in the woods, I would start carving shit and trying to figure out a way to make instruments and sing. And that's just what I like to do. And I think that's what an artist is, you know, like, a lot of rappers are just businessmen, you know, who figured out a way to get money out here, and they could have been getting money selling drugs or doing something else, and they decided to keep it more positive and start rapping and like use that as a hustle, and you have to respect that too. But what I don't respect quite as much, I guess, is the kids who are just only rapping so that they can like sleep with girls or whatever, because it's like that lasts for a few years.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that, and you can hear it. Like, I don't listen. When I hear music like that, I feel nothing, you know?
Yeah,
and it's I think that's what I kind of am like fighting against, sort of. Like, it's not like I'm not coming after anyone. I'm not trying to like throw hell shade everywhere. But it's just like, you know, like when you make music, would you do that forever? If there was no money, no women, no alcohol, no drugs around you when you did it, would you still do it? I would. You know, I will continue to do it forever, no matter what. So anyone who's not on my level with that, it's like, I'm never going to look up to you.
But you know, I mean, okay, so then how does it work when you're with, you know, because you're a songwriter also. So you know, for those that don't know, I mean, a songwriter, you get paid to make people hot shit. You know what I mean?
I give them the swag.
Exactly. So like, but so and even it's almost like naturally, if somebody is not, I mean, granted, I get there's like songwriters and there's vocalists and there's like, you know, now I'm not saying that if you don't write your own songs, you are not an artist, by no means. But like, inherently, if you need somebody else to write your song for you, there is a level of like, I hate to keep using this word, inauthenticity, but there's almost like this level of like, you're not equipped enough to do it alone. Like, basically I'm saying like, you're working with the people that you're sort of talking about. Kind of.
I mean, no, actually, I haven't. Like, everyone I've worked with, I feel like I really click with them. And, I mean, people, by the time they hear this podcast, or maybe some people know about her already, but the person I work with the most closely is this girl, Pia Mia, who just got
Yeah. I always see you posting stuff with her, like, but I never peeped her stuff.
She's gonna be something. And, you know, she's an 18-year-old girl. Like, she's hella young. And it's true, I battle with this. Like, am I being like you know, I grew up knowing about soul music and 90s R&B music, and now I'm giving it to this little girl from Guam who has nothing to do with, like, the 90s. Like, I mean, nothing to do with the American, like, urban music experience that I grew up in. But she, you know, I think everyone has to play their role, and like the idea is like, that's my music too. When I write a song for somebody, I don't look at it like I'm just trying to get paid. That's what it's about. There's a lot of writers out here that are just like, let's write a hit and get the check. But to me, it's like, of course I want to write a hit. I'm trying to make songs that people connect to, but I want people to know, oh, like Marc E Bassy wrote that song, I can tell. You know, and I want it to be, when you hear Pia Mia, or if you hear, you know, whoever I'm working with, if it's fucking, you know, hopefully I'll write for everyone, but I want it to be like, damn, I can hear it. Like, the songwriter was really going in, like just like the singer is. And sometimes you write a song where it's like, that would be better if
that
such and such, if Chris Brown sang this, it would be amazing, because I've worked with him before and he has an insane voice and an insane talent that I don't have. So that's still my art. It's just it's going through a different vessel that is more appropriate for that particular project.
Now, do you ever, when you're writing stuff for other people, have you ever, specifically, you know, I just want you to get a little vivid in the time where you felt like, man, this is something that I really wouldn't do, or this is something that I'm just doing for the money, or this is something that, you know, like, what's the feeling inside at those moments?
I mean, I really don't do that. Like, I can find, like, I find love in a lot of different kinds of music, you know? Like, if Iggy Azalea called me in for a session right now, even though I'm, like, talking shit about her, and I'm, like, in a way, and I...
No,
but there's, in a lot of ways, like, I don't like...
I would say you're just being honest.
Yeah. So, I have feelings about that, but if she was like, let's get a session, I would do it, and I would just try to, like, do something as real to me as possible. And if she could bring something that sounded good and sounded real to it, then that would be great. And it's not like... In any... I feel like I can always be true to myself, and I don't feel like I ever cheat myself. I haven't thus far. And so, you know, like, I just try to keep it like that wherever I go. And I think that's what's been, you know, recently in the past year, like, how I've been really getting by. And because it's tough out here. Like, you see kids, you know, you see people on tour, you might see us, you know, whatever. I'm, like, in the hotel, smoking weed, having fun. But, like, really, in the music industry, like, even if you have a hit, like, I worked on that song, Beat It. That's a gold record. You know, it takes a year to get paid.
Yeah, know, for those that don't know, Marc wrote some of Beat It, Sean Kingston, Chris Brown.
But, like, and that was even honestly, like, a small contribution I did to that song that ended up leading to more songwriting gigs, which I've been doing. But it's really hard to get paid, you know? So it's like, you have to really, like, it's like a job, you know? It turns into, like, I have my career as an artist, and then I have, like, my day job is, like, writing songs. And you want to be, you know, even if you work at a desk all day and you, like, are a data entry at some bullshit job that you don't like, the only way you can get by doing that is by being like, I'm going to have good form when I do this. I'm going to be happy with the people around me. I'm going to do a good-ass job and, like, try to get it done efficiently and, like, thoroughly and with spirit. And that's the same way that I approach writing songs. It's like sometimes I'll get called in on, like, a pop session for, like, some young girls or for a young, like, whatever, a young singer who maybe needs, like, some help figuring out, like, this kind of new wave, like, R&B shit that I kind of know about. And I listen to them sing and I'm like, you know, like, I could probably do that better than they could. But, like, I like their energy, I like their spirit, and if they're good people, it's like, just go hard and, you know, try to turn it into a positive. And that's kind of how I approach the day job of, like, songwriting or whatever.
Yeah.
When it's not all the way fulfilling as doing your own music is.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I mean, that's kind of the same thing with me and my film stuff. It's like, you know, the project that I'm working on, that I just told you about, right? Like, I've been working on that for 2 years, and that's the baby, and, like, the public still doesn't know about it, and I cannot wait for that day to come when, like, I can tell people more about it. But, like, you know, for now, it's like, man, like, I just did a gig with Toyota, and I've been doing this, like, sort of long-standing gig with Sprite, and, like, it's like, like, I don't even really drink soda, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really, you know, Sprite is a cool company in terms of, like, the platform that they're giving me to, like, showcase things that I think are dope and, like, you know, like, encourage people to, like, get into the arts and stuff. But, like, you know, like you said, man, it's like, that's kind of like the day job, and, like, you just, you know, but at the same time, it's like, I'm not going out and telling kids, like, yo, drink this sugar water, you know what I mean? I'm like, there's something, like, there's a greater picture behind it that, like, I can sleep at night that I'm working with this, like, soda company, you know? So, like, yeah, man.
You about to get dropped now that you just said?
Nah, not at all, man. Sprite knows it's all love, man. Go to spriteport.com, everybody. But, yeah, man, you know, so it's like, what else, man? So, okay, you know, before we start to get into, like, this current stuff, because I'm really feeling your project, man. I want to talk about that. But man, like, explain to me, like, what it's like to be young in a band, the front man of the band, signed to a record label, and you think, signed to a record label, and, you know, touring all over the country, man. Like, a lot of people want to know what that's like, man. Like I've had tastes of it with like working with Tiny Tempa and like going on tours and even just knowing all my friends that are musicians and stuff. But like let people know what that lifestyle is like.
I mean, it was really amazing. It was such a good experience, and it was really good the way we did it too, because we had worked really hard leading up to that even, and we had really honed our craft as live performers. And so it's like that was, just being on stage with the guys and playing, that many people contributing musically and that intensely to something. Like a lot of heat was coming off the stage when Soundclud played. Like I could tell, it wasn't just me, it was everybody on stage, and I could feel the crowd, like every crowd we ever played to.
Yeah, it was.
I'm not trying
crazy.
to toot our own horn, but
No. I mean, I witnessed it, man. Yeah. It was. I mean, I've been to like 5-6 of y'all shows in New York, and like seen them at big venues, seen them at small venues, and like, dude, every time people were like, "Yo, this is some hot shit." And you guys have such a loyal fan base too.
Yeah. So it was cool because it was like we had the music part was really there. It wasn't like the hype wasn't ever bigger than the music. The music was always actually, I think, bigger than the hype and and the stature. So it was a lot of fun, and like me and the guys, we like to party. We really did all that shit. We had the hotel rooms cracking after the shows, and that shit was all important to us. It was just so much fun. Like I think it was almost better that we never really we toured as like an opening band. But we were good enough to attract a lot of attention while we were out on the road. But we were never like on some like holy shit, it's like Justin Bieber coming through where like you can't even experience life. Like every city I went to, we'd pull in the van. I read in the back of the van, listen to music, chill out, play video games when we had the nicer like Sprinter vans or whatever, if we're on a bus or some shit like that. But we would get to the spot and like sound check, and I would just go run around every city. I've been, I know my favorite restaurants from Burlington, Vermont to San Diego, from all across the country, and we all experienced all these places together, and obviously like different girls and groups of funny like stories of us just being out of place in different sorority houses, and all just like fun, all that fun shit that you would think we really got to experience it on a level of just being like normal kids. And damn, that was fucking fun. I look at people that are like were way more on than us, and I know that they didn't get it in like we did, because like they couldn't, because they have to go hide, and like we're just like we were just bringing music, and even if people didn't know who we were, it's not like after we would perform a show, people didn't like come want to be with us because they knew our name. They wanted to hang out because we had fucking fun on stage, and they could tell that party that was going on stage was probably going to continue.
Keep going,
So it's like, even to this day, like I laugh about that, because that's, if you're in a bar, just like in some random town at a random time, and there's a guy up there killing it on guitar and singing, he could be 40 years old. You'll start to see the people will be looking at him. If he's really killing, people will be like, damn, this guy's tight. Maybe I'll scoot my chair closer and watch him play. And then, a few single whatever women at the bar will be like, damn, he's kind of cool up there. Like, I want to go see this too. Yep. That's kind of really what Soundclud was. Like,
it's the mist of the musician.
Yeah, it was like, it was all about the music, and people just liked how we played and how we played together, and they wanted to be a part of that. And, it was just... that was the best aspect of it to me, was just like at the end of the day, we just looked at each other and we just jammed and we just rocked out. We were a rock band.
Yeah. Now when you
played hard,
man, when you say you guys realized that it was a little too hard to keep the 6-man team going. Was that something that, was it like a label thing, like no support from the label, or was it like just like it's too expensive, or like you guys are not able to, like, there's 6 of y'all? I mean, I can't imagine splitting a check 3-4 ways, but like 6 ways,
I mean, that part was always hard, because you get a check, you might get signed for, you might have a $500,000 budget, and like you'll see that shit will turn into like, oh, I got $15 grand.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
That money is nothing in the music industry because managers, lawyers, tour managers, all that. But that comes with the territory. But what broke us up was never financial. It's really, you know, our label didn't do a good job. You know, I would say that to them too, not to like hate, but they really didn't do a good job with us, especially in like, that's just part of the business. And, you know, I could get into like specific business things that happened. Like, just as an example, when our first single was actually succeeding.
Which one was this?
Called Worry About You.
Oh, yeah. That was a great song.
Yeah, we had cracked the top 40 at pop radio, and it was kind of like, it was turning into something. We were on like bigger tours, and our entire radio staff left our label and moved to a different label, you know, right in the middle of it. So then our label, the new radio staff came in. They didn't give a shit about us. You know, they were like, whatever, top 40 is not shit. You're not really making waves until you're like top 20, top 15. So they were like, we'll be cool on 2M Club till next year. Just, you know, have them chill out. And so stuff like that happened, and it's unfortunate, but I don't even think about that really. Like, that's just, it is what it is.
It's just a part of the process.
Journey. Yeah, like I'm really happy the way everything went, because I feel like what I'm doing now, and this goes back to why 2M Club isn't together now, I think, is at the end of the day, everyone really wanted to express themselves a certain way. All five of us. It was 6 of us, but 5, like, you know, members that were in it since day one. And all of us had our own vision, and we just couldn't all feel like we were being fulfilled artistically all together. You know, just like Matt Reagan is one of the best musicians I've ever heard. Not even, you know, ever. And I've listened to everyone from all time. Like, he's so incredible as a musician, the way he plays guitar and the way he thinks about music and how unique he is. And, like, he couldn't do that in 2M Club. So, like, how long? It was only a matter of time until he felt that way. And me, like, how long was I going to be able to... Like, me and Tyler had a great chemistry, and I always felt it, and I felt very strongly about it. But it was inevitable. And people would say that to me, and I'd be like, no, it's not like that at all. But it was true. It's like, I don't want to share vocals on every song I ever do. There's no way that I was going to be able to do that forever. Because it's just like, sometimes you got to get some shit off your chest. And if he needs to also, it's like, you know. You
guys have to like find a common ground in the song.
Every time, it's always like, well, what are you talking about? What am I? So sometimes like this shit just don't work. And we can still make music together, you know, even now. Like, he just flew out to LA and we made some songs together and worked on stuff for other people. And you know, and the same thing goes with all, you know, Sauce and Dave too. I must feel really comfortable because I'm really going in depth. But, you know, it's the same, like, you know, Dave can do everything musically. And so he just would always feel like, I don't know if I like what everyone else is doing. You know, I can hear it in my head a different way. And so he had to, you know, respect himself.
Yeah.
And Sauce the same way too. Sauce, you know, our bass player, he was probably looking at us all like, you guys are all a bunch of spoiled bitches. Like, why can't we just agree on this shit and like move forward? Because that was he was more like a real team player, you know, and really, he's a bass player. He was holding it down, you know, and that's like he played his role. And I just, all that shit, man, all the personalities, all those years matched with not being successful enough to like really sustain us all in the way that we would like to. You know, and that's not, and we might, you never know, like, we still have songs that are great songs on deck that we haven't even released that we might put out, and I don't know what the future holds, but it just came to that point when it was like, this can't go on forever. And it's cool because it also has a lot to do with timing, you know? It's like we were a little before where we were supposed to be at, I think, with that music.
Yeah, man, it's almost like if you would have came out closer to now, maybe.
Yeah,
and
if
like,
2M Club was coming up right now, oh my God, it'd be over. But I don't, you know, even that, like, I'm proud of that. I want to be ahead.
Yeah.
Like, I don't ever want to be like one of those people that just popped off because he was right in the right pocket of time. I'd rather be, you know, I like hearing people that are coming up now who are a little younger than me, like in the early, like 20 or whatever, and they're like big fans of 2M Club, because that actually happens a lot in like a lot of the songwriting sessions I do with younger singers. They'll be like, oh my God, I love 2 a.m. Club, and that makes me feel like we're still like out there. You know, our music is it
for
still
sure
matters. And so like whatever we do now, and as I like enter this next phase as a a current solo artist, I know that my music is going to connect that much more. Because 2 a.m. Club isn't something that people look back on like that was cute for its time. Remember when we all loved that? They look at it more like, yo, that music, you guys just slept on that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I still play the records, man. Like, I mean,
it's
that album had so many joints on it. Like,
it's still a lot.
Yeah, man.
For sure.
And even like the mixtape stuff, man. Like, I like a lot of joints off Moon Talk too.
Yeah.
But man, so all right, so talk a little bit about you now solo, Mr. E Bassy.
Yeah.
What's the well, first off, what's up with the name?
Well,
I don't think I ever asked you this.
Huh?
I don't think I ever asked you this. It's like,
well, like everyone always called me Marky growing up. My name is Marc, and my collaborator in my solo endeavors is this producer, also like an amazing graphic designer. If you guys see like all my cover art and all my shit,
isn't it?
fresh.
It's like a reference to some like older stuff, right?
I mean, yeah, it's like minimalist kind of.
I just remember some stuff in the '90s that looked similar.
I mean, he pulls from a lot of things, and it's like, I wouldn't even be able to tell you like what specific like era of art or whatever he's referencing, but he switches it up a lot. He did one thing that was like a Georgia O'Keeffe like homage kind of thing, and then, but anyways, that's his name is Alex Howe, and his producer name was Count Bassy.
Okay.
Like Bassy, and I was trying to like get him to be more involved in music because he's so amazingly talented and he's kind of dabbling in it. And so I've kind of like I took his name, but it's like, bro, I'm stealing your fucking name. So like you come with me so we can really be out here. And I just like it, I just kind of feel like it explains who I am in a weird way. And I always wanted to have like a moniker, but I'm Marc Griffin, when it's all said and done. It's all good, but Marc E Bassy is it's like a project. That's how I like to look at it like that. It's like something that I've created, and that I know what it represents. It's like conscious music, but it's still like you can turn up to it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's got that. I mean, this project you just put out, Only the Poets, man. I love how it starts with that speech from James Baldwin. Yeah. And talking about how, and this is something I really feel, man, how like artists are like I feel like my job as an artist is to just always show people the real, right? It's to always show, especially like the next generation. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like it's my job to document what is going on right now, and to just give people, and especially through my art and my films, it's like give people a look at, here is contemporary culture, and like this is, maybe it's not like this is what we need to do and this is what we need to do about it, but like this is a look at my generation, and this is a look at what's going on in our generation, and like this is how we are expressing ourselves, and this is what we feel, and this is the honest truth of that. And like it's like James Baldwin was saying, like in the piece that you took on the intros, is pretty much like the artists are the only ones that know the truth about us.
Only the poets.
Only the poets. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's kind of what has been kind of my mantra. Like when you come from where I'm from in the Bay Area, there's a lot going on in the Bay Area. There's a lot of money being made in new technologies. There's a lot of there's everything. There's you have parts that you can't, people are getting shot and killed in all the time and crazy violence, but then right next door there's like insane wealth. And I've been around a lot of different scenarios growing up, and I couldn't find anything worth my time other than trying to get in front of people and say some shit. And that's, to me, like, Only the Poets is like what else can you do? You know, I can't imagine like just getting locked up in an office and like just pushing paper all day or nothing against that. Like that's, you know, my dad did that his whole life and worked really hard to like make it out from where he was from. And I admire people that actually can do that, but when you do that, I feel like you forfeit a part of yourself. And to not forfeit that part is to struggle, you know. It's like to be an artist is a fucking struggle.
It's a beautiful struggle.
Yeah, it's a beautiful struggle, but
sometimes it's a very ugly struggle.
Yeah, you know, it's like it's not, you know, it's not easy. And even when you become really successful, and if you taste that real money as an artist too, it's not even cool then. You know, it's really like I work with all kinds of people now. You know, major artists, and I've been around everybody. And you don't see too many just stable, happy people at the top either. So it's like you're either broke and struggling and trying to make it, or you make it and then you like, you know, put cocaine in the weed and fucking stay blasted all day and don't know what you're doing. And it's just,
why is that? Why is that? You know what I mean? Why is it that, you know, I mean, when people make this money and they have the success and they have the things that, you know, they dreamed of, that they're still not happy?
I mean, happiness is a weird thing, you know. I've never figured it out. I don't think anyone has. If you take the Zen approach, which I like to do, you know, life is suffering, and the universe is perfect, but, you know, your particular life is like suffering, but the backdrop is already there. The backdrop is perfect, and so when you're living life moment to moment, you can feel it all, you know? And it's like, when you hit your wagon to like a train of like, I need success, I need money, I need these certain things to make me feel like I've achieved something, which is what a lot of musicians do. Like, I want a platinum record, I want, you know, girls to be waiting in the lobby for me when I'm at the hotel, I want, you know, I want a Benz, or I want a fucking Phantom, or I want a penthouse apartment in Paris and LA, whatever. When you attach yourself to all those things and that's what you're going for, those are all empty promises to begin with. Like, none of those are going to bring you happiness no matter what. They can't, not even close. So then when you achieve them and you realize you worked all this time to get to this place, and you still see that that was just a vapid fantasy that really wasn't offering that much, you really got to deal with yourself. And people are afraid to do that, you know. It's really hard to deal with yourself. I haven't dealt with myself yet, you know. And I can feel like as I grow up, that's something that I'm gonna have to at some point, you know.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
it's hard.
I think, man, you have to be happy without anything, you know. And I mean, I think that's like, you know, like different like religious approaches and all this stuff. Like, there's some like Eastern stuff, I'm sure, that says like, you know, like, I don't know if this is like Buddhism or something, but it's like possessions, they like are evil. I mean, there's like extremes like that, you know, where like if you're not happy when you're like naked and poor and have nothing to eat, like that's when you should be happy. And if you're not happy at that moment, then you're never gonna be happy like with anything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? With any of the riches.
Yeah, happiness comes from within. That's the bottom line. So it's kind of like when you actually do succeed and you have a lot of things around you to distract you from going within and finding happiness, it just makes it that much more difficult, I think so. Yeah. But, you know, I've never even cared, honestly, I never think about happiness like, am I happy right now? I'm always just trying to make music, and that makes me happy, so.
So I think you're in a roundabout way, you know.
I'm smooth, right?
Yeah, you're good, man.
It's never been a
Yeah.
problem.
Man, what is it, I guess, you know, like now that your music is out there and people are receiving it, like, how does it feel? Is it, and how is it going? I mean, first off, man, like, I text you, you know, when I heard the project, it was like, yo, this, because I think I listened to it like 2 weeks later, and I was like, damn, why didn't I listen to it when it first dropped? You know what I mean? Like, dude, I was really, really impressed, man. And, I mean, you even introduced me to, like, an artist that I really like now and that I've been, like, bumping her Cloud 19, Kehlani. Yeah. Like, I'd never heard of her before Lock It Up.
Yeah.
And like now I'm like just listening to her stuff too. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot of hot shit on there, man.
Yes, I mean, it's going really good, bro. It's only been, we've really only been doing this for like 6 months, and it's already getting to a level where like we're gonna be going on tour in October, and I feel like I have, you know, the right sort of personalities around me to start to build it up again, and this is what I do, you know. I start little mini movements and see how far I can take them. And
Yeah.
2AM Club was the last one. Now this one's just getting started, and this one's, you know, more so on my shoulders than 2AM Club was, kind of on all of our shoulders equally. So it's a different feeling, but you know, I have people that I love and care about that I work with, which is really nice. And I mean, I've always had that, but I've kind of like reached back into my past to like grab people that I always wished were with me this whole time with 2AM Club that never could. So now I got some of them with me, which is cool. And you know, we got my man Nick Nack with me too, and he's turning into like one of the biggest urban producers in the world. You know, he produced Loyal. He's the best. Crazy. So we like the whole squad is kind of cool right now. It's nice to be a part of this little Bay Area movement, man.
Oh, it's crazy, man. I mean, dude,
we're getting serious right
it's
now.
not a lot of people. I feel like it's sort of known, but like it's not, you know, it's not being talked about, and there's not a lot of press on it. But man, I mean, you got you, Kehlani, I Am Sue, Sage the Gemini. Yeah, I mean HBK, G-Eazy. I mean, it's crazy, man. Like how many.
Nick Nack too. Like
Nick Nack
made the hottest song of the decade. You
Yeah.
know? It's like
it's
all the way to Bay Area too. A lot of people don't really realize that.
Yeah, man. Well, what do you think it's gonna take? I guess. I mean, or is it even like? Is it gonna be a? I mean, because I've been there a few times, but like, what's the vibe there? Is it like, you know, Atlanta has a industry of hip hop. You know what I mean? Like there's a LA has a movement, but there's also like an industry of music in LA.
Yeah.
Like, is it like that there, or is it?
Like it's weird because New York, well, Atlanta and LA are dominated. I feel like by the entertainment industry. Well, I can't really speak that much to Atlanta, but I've been to Atlanta to write, and I've hung out there a little bit, and like people are like grinding in Atlanta. Like the clubs are like Hollywood clubs. You know, it's the same thing. They're even more turned up in that kind of industry, in that crazy industry way. Like, listen, you know, cats are giving each other like they're passing their CDs out and shit, and like pushing that real hard line in Atlanta and LA for their music. And in the Bay, like, yeah, it's not really like that, you know. I don't know. It's just not. It's like it's feels more relaxed, and you know, the people really winning in the Bay are like the people that work at Google and Facebook and shit. You know, like people aren't tripping off, you know, what the kids are doing with music. That's something for us, you know, and that's kind of what makes it special. Like we, someone else that I'm like associated with, that I work with, are these kids. This kid Nima, and he owns that company Pink Dolphin, right? And
they started in the Bay, right?
That's the Bay Area company, you know. Pink Dolphin is all the way, and like they had a little show on Hay Street the other day, and it was like I was like the opener, but I played Audio Push played, and then like Cool John and HBK, I Am Sue like closed it out. I kid you not, it was 20,000 people there.
Wow.
You know, like all of Haight Street was filled up. So like the Bay Area is really checking for the Bay Area, and it's like I think LA is too, and I think everywhere is. But it's like kids in the Bay Area who work up there. They're not like thinking, how do I get to like LA? Necessarily. Some of us are, like some of us came down early on, like me. Yeah. But like, you know, I'm Sue and Sage, like they live in the Bay still. You know, Sage probably
making it happen up there.
Yeah, like they're making it happen from there, and they're going all over the world, obviously, and like doing it just as much as anybody. But it's one of those places where like I think the object is more to support each other and like keep the Bay Area sound alive in the Bay Area, and make sure everyone from the Bay remembers like this is our music. Like we create this feel good but super turned up. Like we invented this shit.
I mean, it all started with E40, right?
It all started with E40, with Mac Dre, with
Mac Dre, yeah.
a lot of the Bay Area producers. They were making that a real Bay Area sound. Even from the hyphy movement, I don't think DJ Mustard stole the sound or anything like that. But he's just heavily influenced by the Bay Area sound. There's no denying it. And Atlanta got their sound too. It's all good. The Bay Area loves Atlanta music and loves New Orleans music even more. They're very connected. A lot of places in Oakland and San Francisco and Marin City, a lot of places in the Bay are filled with people from the South too. So we love music from down there, but I think the Bay is just all about supporting itself and continuing this legacy that we have. And whether it blows up or not, it just depends on whoever the biggest star is out of the Bay at the time.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of waiting for our YG right now, or something like that. We don't really Sage, I guess, and IMC are kind of like that, but
Yeah. And I think that those guys too are especially Sage. I think Sage is especially IMC rather. I think he's like a star in the industry. You know what I mean? He's everybody in the industry wants to work with him, and
he's fucking great.
But he's almost not as big outside. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense,
people know his songs, but
they don't
doesn't necessarily know him.
Yeah. But he's a beast, man. I thought his project was super dope. My man did his album artwork. Who's from the Bay too, Sylvester. Sylvester?
Yeah, I know Sylvester. He works with Kalani too.
Yep. So yeah, man. I'm excited to see what's gonna happen with you guys, man. Man. So what's good, man? What's next? Tell people what you have on the horizon.
I think we're working on the next mixtape right now. We're gonna be on tour in October.
Because this was volume 1?
This is volume 1.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't even know if the next one is necessarily going to be volume 2, but I like when people do that.
Okay.
So we're going to have the next one probably coming out in December. And I got a song with Sage the Gemini. I don't even know if he knows that, but I got a song up there. I'm just playing, he knows. I made it, I sent it to him and he put a verse down, so
okay.
I didn't actually do it with him, but I got some cool little tug songs that I'm going to be putting out intermittently as we lead up to this next project, and just building it really organically. I'm doing everything independently now.
Intentionally, no label.
I get called into labels to have meetings and they want to know what's going on, but I haven't gotten any crazy offers or nothing like that yet. But depending on
it's man, if you're looking for if it comes, it comes. But if you're looking for a record deal now, it's that's not the thing to be looking for.
Yeah, not at all. So I'm not worried about that. But yeah, so we're just grinding, bro. It's just back to square one, but with a little different mentality, and I'm better now, than I used to be at making songs and performing and doing everything that it takes to be successful. So it's cool. I have this crazy mashup idea that I'm doing out in the next 2 weeks or so. That's a blend of a song that I've recently written and an old classic song that I can't give away, but that's the next release that I'm gonna do.
Okay.
I'm really, really excited about that particular thing.
Dope. And where can people find you, man? I know your SoundCloud is popping, man.
Yeah,
this is on SoundCloud, so give them that.
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah.
Dope. Yeah, so SoundCloud /MARC_E_Bassy. That's BASSY. And you can find all my songs on YouTube. We got MarcEBassy.com is rocking. Facebook, same thing. Twitter, Instagram, it's all Marc E Bassy.
All right.
It's all appropriately branded.
Yeah.
As they say. So check me out. I'm into talking to people about all this kind of stuff, and I know I'm kind of long-winded when I get interviewed. Nah, man,
this is perfect, man. Yeah. This is what podcasts are for, man. That's why I love doing them, man.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a big fan, and Yeah, so I'm into it. I'm into it all, man. If people want to holler at me, I like talking to people about what's going on.
Dope, man. Dope. All right. Well, guys, check out Marc. Check out his project, Only the Poets. It's really dope. I got it on Spotify and SoundCloud. I've been listening to it like very, very often. And what's going on with me right now that I can tell you guys? Colors. The last Colors is in New York for this year, going on a winter break. So if you are in New York, this Friday, and you know, because the last one is free 99 before midnight or something like that. So yo, come out. We got a new venue in Brooklyn. It's gonna be crazy. It's at Littlefield. Go to nyc.mycolorsparty.com. Rock out with us for one last time. If you guys update on some of the film stuff, some of the stuff that I've been doing with Sprite is up. So go to youtube.com/Sprite and you can check out a lot of interviews there. And then I just shot a campaign with this company called Bevel that's coming out soon. So you guys be on the lookout for that. It's a really cool shaving company, and we did some profiles of some people in LA. And yeah, other than that, man, again, you guys can support the podcast with as little as a $1 tip. Go to patreon.com/Jabari. Thank you for all those that have already supported and are keeping it going. All right. Talk to you guys very, very soon. Peace.